What's going on, Bud Mashers? I'm Mr. Gamer, and welcome to SBRReports episode 54, Fortnite Coaches, Physical Games, Gamefly's Dead, and more. Unfortunately, Miss Kitty Duval is out saving kittens right now, so she will not be able to join us for this particular episode, but I really do hope that those kittens are safe afterwards. And let's just jump into, obviously, the most popular thing that's on everyone's mind, the most important thing that we all think of every single waking moment. How are we going to get better at Fortnite? And I'll tell you how you're going to get better with a coach. Because if you think that a coach is only for basketball or tennis or football, you are sorely mistaken. As reported by BleachReport.com, not to be confused by the anime, trust me, I checked. It turns out that for about $10 to $20 per hour, you can hire a Fortnite coach to help your kid get better at Fortnite. Because how else are they going to pull themselves out of Ninja's shadow if they don't have a coach? I mean, Ninja was just obviously injected with just so much talent. It would make sense that just some average Joe Schmo would need something to give them that extra edge, and parents obviously only want the best for their children and have obviously realized that everything else is going to be thrown out the window and that video games are going to be the only thing that they're going to really look forward to. So I might as well just invest all that time not into science or sports or the arts, no, into Fortnite. Now, typically, you would think, but Mr. Gamer, you should be happy about this. You have support about the art that you love. You have support about video games. People are actually doing something and people are actually trying to make kids better. But I'm actually not okay with that. And here's why. Because of how, let's just say, viral Fortnite has been, I don't feel as if there's going to be a balance with Fortnite and everything else. For example, unfortunately, I'm just not doing this full time. I am not doing SBR full time as much as I would love it. But I can't, because I can't put all my eggs in one basket. And when you're 10 years old, you know, as the child is in this article, you have so many other things that you could possibly be focusing on besides Fortnite. Now, the other side, the other argument is that, well, this is just this is the turn of the century. This is just where society is going. It doesn't mean that I have to like it. I'm sorry. I appreciate the fact, like, I think it was about 4 episodes ago, I covered how teachers were even trying to talk in Fortnite-esque language. For example, if you did really bad on a test, you needed a chug jug or extra credit in order to boost your grade. Because, you know, that made sense. Honestly, I gotta say, I am happy about the fact that there's an opportunity for people who are good at Fortnite to teach children how to do Fortnite. What I don't want is for these children to just do Fortnite. There are significantly more things you can be doing. You need to be a well-rounded individual. And I really feel like that Twitter name that I gave myself for like a week really applies here. Just like the gaming dad. Like, I want people to be great at video games, but be good at some other things too. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't put it all on red, because it could definitely be black, and then you're broke. Not that black equals broke. It's a roulette joke for people who go to Vegas. Okay, moving on. While we're talking about money, it actually turns out that God of War, that beautiful, beautiful game that brought us so many boy memes, brought $131 million in digital revenue, showing, hopefully, to most AAA developers that maybe the single player experience isn't necessarily dead. Super Data, I'm going to assume Super Data is some sort of data aggregate, published the findings in an article entitled The Maturation of Narrative in Video Games. And they looked at 6 reasons that people enjoy single-player video games: leveling up, combat, experiencing the story, exploring the map, open endings, and visuals. Just taking a little snippet. The surging emphasis of rich storytelling in games is a key reason why story-driven titles are earning big. During their respective launch months, The Witcher 3 earned $69 million. I still have The Witcher 3 on Steam, have not touched it. Uncharted 4 made $56 million. Unfortunately, I was really never in it to really get a whole handle on Nathan Drake. He kind of looks like a douche. And then God of War raked $131 million in total revenue. Now, obviously, with big business, especially the AAA industry, you would think that that would mean something important because, I mean, that's money right there. There didn't need to be any huge DLC. Oh boy, there was definitely, an update, because I'm not going to say that it arrived to my PS4 in the best condition, but it definitely got there, and I was definitely able to enjoy Kratos and Atreus doing what they do. It was fantastic, but it was an amazing story. I was engaged, and then it was over. There was nothing else aside from whatever post-game content, which could basically be, hey, tie up these loose ends. That's basically it. But let me also emphasize that those loose ends weren't $3.99. They were just there. Could I have done those loose ends before I finished the game? Yeah, some of them. But the fact that they were there for me when I had purchased the game, I got the complete full experience through it all, and that was amazing. It made me so happy. And I had bought the game physical. I actually don't think I'm going to return the game because I enjoyed it so much. And there are different ways that I could go about trying to play the game. There are different things that I could try to do, different sort of combos that I could make with Kratos and Atreus, different weapons that I could try to focus on. But all in all, it was still an amazing story. And with a single player game like God of War, when you have, and my apologies if you don't, but if you have all the knowledge of the previous God of War video games, to see Kratos as he is now, and then he even and watching his arc, and then watching Atreus's arc versus, grizzled man with big weapon beats demon. Like, we have enough of that. Give me some story, give me some engagement, make me want to continue playing your video game past charging me more to get more of the video game. And I really appreciate the fact that that's what this does. And if Super Data's numbers aren't anything to talk about, maybe we could use some more good single-player games. I really wouldn't say that the single-player experience is necessarily dead. And speaking of another popular single-player experience, Kingdom Hearts 3. I am so sorry to pop everyone's bubble, but if you unfortunately saw something from Geek.com that Kingdom Hearts 3 was going to have somewhere around like 80 hours of gameplay, yeah, that wasn't confirmed by Square Enix, so I really wouldn't necessarily say that that is true. So it seems as if that was just a number that was thrown out, though there's still some remaining months of development that need to go on with Kingdom Hearts 3. We have a few good confirmed worlds. If you have been on Facebook and have friends who are part of gaming groups, you've seen Toy Story, which I will say is pretty cool. You've also seen Monsters Inc., which once again I think Monsters Inc. would probably be my favorite, but that's because I love Monsters Inc.'s movies. I think that they were great. Now, if we could actually have Kingdom Hearts 3 arguably have perhaps the same amount of content as Octopath Traveler, and the only reason I'm talking about Octopath Traveler is just the game that's kind of sucked up most of my life. I think I have like either 69, not a porn joke, or 79 hours in that game. It's oh boy, it's been taking up more than a little bit of my life, and I'm still not completely done with it all. But if Kingdom Hearts 3 can have anywhere close to that amount of gameplay, I will happily buy it. Now, I will challenge anyone listening to not pre-order it, because I 100% guarantee you they have more than enough copies for everyone. Trust me. Now, going on to Nintendo Switch news, it turns out that Nintendo has new official Mario and Zelda Switch D-pad, left, not right, D-pad Joy-Cons. But there's a little problem. aside from the fact of this is only the left Joy-Con and it only costs $25 versus your standard Joy-Con, which comes as a pack, which is actually the price of a game, somewhere between like $60 and $75, depending on where you're getting it from. They don't have some essential features like Bluetooth, HD rumble, a gyro sensor, battery, and the SL or SR buttons, which means that you can only play with these when the Switch is in handheld mode. No TV play, which means that you can't take that beautiful Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild Joy-Con off and play with it. So, what exactly is the point? I mean, yes, it looks pretty, but I'm at a point in my life where I'm not just going to buy things because they're pretty. Though I have an amiibo collection that would have a few questions for me with that previous statement. I don't necessarily see the point in this. And I only say that because one of the things, especially when we seen the trailer with the Nintendo Switch, was, you dock it in and you go, and boom, there you go, with both Joy-Cons in your hands. I mean, the HD Rumble feature, when Miss Duval and I went over to the Nintendo Switch event, we were playing 1-2 Switch. That is amazing technology that you just don't see anywhere else. Why wouldn't I want that in my controller? What's the point in having a Joy-Con without everything that truly makes it a Joy-Con? If that was the case, I would throw together something and, oh look, I'm using my PS4 as a Pro controller because I can. Like, I suppose. Now, this article on GameStop.com also states that the controller should make playing 2D games a more precise experience. And with all the incredible 2D games on the Switch, Mega Man X Legacy Collection, thank goodness it's not Mighty Number 9, Celeste, which is a game I still need to get my hands on, Hollow Knight, which I own on Steam. I don't think I'll be getting it for the Switch. And the upcoming NES classics that will be introduced with Nintendo Switch Online. A real D-pad could certainly come in handy. And now I will admit, that is very nice. I would like to have a true D-pad versus just a set of buttons. But more importantly, I would want everything that made my Joy-Con an actual Joy-Con. Now, they are like a little less than half the price of a Joy-Con, but then again, it's also just the left side, and that's just going to really bug me if I have this really pretty Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild controller on my left hand, and then I have my Splatoon pink or neon green on the right. Like, those games just don't quite mesh together. So, for those who just want something pretty, and then maybe you don't have to put it on your Switch, that might be a good thing for you. Maybe. Now, unfortunately, we get to the less than optimal topics, and saying that with what I'm going to be talking about is a little strange. So, Spyro Reignited Trilogy was released a while ago, and it is fantastic. It looks great. Unfortunately, you would think that when you get a physical game, you would have a physical game. I mean, that's what you bought. I mean, it's not as if you went to the chocolate ice cream store and got, vanilla. That would be silly. Unfortunately, this trilogy is available. Let me rephrase that. This trilogy is available on that physical copy, but only a third of it, the first game. So the other two you would have to download, which completely defeats the purpose of it being a physical copy. Now, the argument that was made is that, oh, well, this is just something that's expected. Everyone is doing it. But you know what? Let me just quote them specifically. As with most games today, downloading an update after a purchase is quite common. The language on the packaging and on the web is to let players know the requirements for Spyro Reignited Trilogy. Now, there's a problem with that. If I get a physical game, and I mean a true physical game, not like me getting the Division and then expecting to get all the extra DLC because I got Division Game of the Year edition or anything like that. I want all the games on the disc. I want a true physical copy because now I'm not in this particular state, but let's just say I didn't have internet. Let's just say I truly couldn't get internet. Let's just say I'm going to be away somewhere. And I bought Spyro Reignited. Well, I bought the physical copy. That's great. That means that what I see on that package, what I expected to get is a physical copy of this game. And then I find out that, well, part of it is there. So there's that. Now, it's nice that the games are being remade from the ground up, but I would really like to have a physical copy of what I bought a physical copy of. And let me tell you why. A lot of very popular video games release day one patches. And what day one patches are personally, I believe there to be, we need to get this game out by, let's just say, August 1st. We need to get this game out by August 1st. Anything that we don't have done by then, we'll just send out an update. Whether it be 2 gigs, 10 gigs, 15 gig update. I really hope you have all that space. And if you don't, tough noogies, because remember, everyone is doing it. Downloading an update after purchase is quite common. And while, yes, that is true, downloading an update is quite common, I would have to argue that getting the rest of my game isn't necessarily an update, especially if it's full games. But I don't necessarily make the decisions when it comes to those sort of games, so unfortunately, I guess we'll just have to deal. Another thing that we'll have to deal with is the death of Gamefly. Yes, just like GameStop lost their Power Pass, and how the Gamers Club unlocked is, well, you can't essentially renew that subscription. Gamefly is also shutting down, but not for the same reasons. It actually turns out that Gamefly is shutting down because the best company in the whole wide world, EA, bought the streaming service, which just puts me in such high hopes. As reported on Variety.com, founded in 2002, Gamefly started out as a video game rental service that mailed video game discs to customers for a monthly fee. It really wasn't that bad. The company was founded by Sean Spector, Xiong Su, and Toby Link. The company expanded by acquiring Shack News in 2009 and Moby Games in 2011. Earlier this year, Electronic Arts announced it was acquiring the company's cloud gaming technology assets and personnel. Reached for comment Wednesday, an EA spokesperson said, "We acquired the team in Israel and the technology they've developed. We did not acquire the Gamefly streaming service. We have not been involved in any decisions around the service." BS. Forgive me if I really don't believe anything that EA says. Forgive me if I don't. Just like EA killed Visceral, I believe that EA killed Gamefly. Now, I would 100% love to be wrong. Please, 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 EA, prove me wrong that you're not a huge piece of crap. But unfortunately, you're probably drowning in money you're probably drowning in too much money to hear me, which is fine. I'm just gonna, keep that exactly where it is. Unfortunately, I never had the opportunity to truly take in what Gamefly could offer, but the fact that you could get those video games and you could have it and you could be done with it and that sort of thing, that was great. You could argue that it was games as a service before the title of games as a service truly stuck around, and I would go with you on that one. I love the fact that people, especially people who were like, they just plowed through video games. They just had so much time on their hands to just plow through so many video games that it was just like, well, I mean, why would I pay $60 4 times when I could pay, let's just say, $30 once a month and then just get all these games? Because it's not as if I really care. I just want to beat them and play them, want to stream them, or stream them on Twitch or whatever. By the way, follow me on Twitch, SBR_Mr. Gamer. I saw the appeal. It's just anything that EA could possibly get their hands on. I feel sorry for whomever it is just under that huge EA shadow. Like, well, you're dead. It's like you're watching a horror movie and you see that one person. Everyone else is saying, "Hey, the killer is behind that door," and you have one person saying, "What, this door?" Unfortunately, the person who said this door happened to have been Gamefly. Can't win them all. Well, I do hope that Miss Duvall is able to save all of those kittens. I do believe that she will be back next week to join us. Definitely hit me up on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and I think anything else that she possibly manages that I occasionally jump into. And with that being said, this is Mr. Gamer signing off.